Hello! I'm Evie and this is Overwatch Everyday, the series where I play 1 to 5 ranked games each day, explaining my thought process that consistently gets me up to champ on all roles throughout the video. Bit of a longer intro today, a few things I want to mention, but the start of the gameplay is timestamped. Today's episode was streamed live on Twitch. If you want to catch the next one, I now have a Discord for people who want to be up to date on streams, video updates, and potentially coaching in the future. The link is in the description. But shifting towards today's episode, in this video, I lose. Straight up, I was underperforming. Not finding the value that I needed to, and even getting into my head a little bit since it was recorded right after a tournament loss. But even the best players in the world will have loss streaks. What makes them the best is how they bounce back. After a rough game on Genji, I step back and I go into the VOD to see exactly what my issues were, and by the end of the video, I clearly identify my mistakes, bad habits, and give myself a clear plan to fix them. But with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Top. Okay, I'll get a Ramatra skin. I'll get the Ramatra weapon skin. This is a recording? Awesome. Nodlet. Oh! Oh my god, wait. This is the first time anyone sort of actually talked to me in ranked. Yeah, that's the first in game that I think someone's recognized me. That's awesome. Okay, thinking about this map, Saravasa is my favorite map in the game. But there are going to be a few things that we can play here. Looking with our Winston, Freya, and our Moira. There are going to be a few things that are really good. I was about to say Tracer would be really strong here, but Tracer is going to be banned, so is Reaper. Which is very a-okay. I'm going to probably be picking around what my team wants to go here. This is going to be a really strong map for Symmetra and Soldier. Basically a lot of heroes with high mobility and self-sustain are going to be fairly strong here. So looking like we have a Winston, Freya, Lucio, Moira. So this is going to be generally with our Lucio and our Moira and our Winston. We're going to be wanting to get on top of them fairly frequently. Our Freya is also going to be able to support that quite a bit with our Ana now swap instead of Venture wouldn't be bad here. Venture would not be bad here. I don't think it'd be the best, but I'll give it a whirl, and if things are going poorly, then I'm thinking that I'm going to be swapping either to Soldier or to Symmetra. This is going to be probably Soldier's best map in the game. Maybe, oh my, okay, I need to super lock in. My Venture is insanely rusty. I have not played in a bit. As their Winston steps onto me, I just want to be backing up into a spot that my team can actually care a bit. I'm so used to meleeing. Okay. My execution might be a little bit too rough on this hero for now to actually win this game, but since my team goes down, I'm going to be stepping onto their backline. Their Vendetta is going to peel me, and so is their Winston. That was horrible. Oh my god, I played that bad. That's okay. I'll be playing one more fight, at least, on Venture here. I remembered what their kit actually does. I'm going to be looking for kind of a flank. Since they have that Weeing and that Symmetra, we want to be putting ourselves in spot to make their Weeing and Symmetra ideally as uncomfortable as possible here. As we see our Winstons exchanging on the front line, their Detta goes up. I see their Symmetra on that right side. I see the rest of them. As soon as I see this this fight happening on the high ground, I'm going to be taking the space. I'm looking to stage onto their back line. Sort of pressuring them out. If I'm able to hit a shot onto anyone, then we're just going to be chilling, and I can look to blow them up. This Venture is still a flex DPS hero. So it's going to have a lot of the general same principles of you want to be holding space until you actually just like... You want to be holding space and waiting for opportunities to really like frag out and go to one-shot somebody. And that's going to be like the essence behind the flanks that you're taking on most flex DPS heroes, because you want to be controlling the map, you want to make it hard for the enemy team to maneuver, and you want to be constantly a threat yourself. Venture, fortunately, is going to be one of the easier heroes to execute your plays on, so being a threat is going to be a little bit easier on Venture, while with something like Tracer or Tracer or Genji, you're going to really need to actually like think about sort of like, I don't know how to use that. Okay, there's still a lot of I have not played this hero in like actually like 8 months. I don't know what the perks really do. Thought process, I'm going to probably pick drill that one, just because I don't know fully what the value is on both of them, and I'm a oh please no. Okay, we through first fight and probably the last one, if I was able to use my dig a little bit more effectively in that big ult fight, then I think we would have definitely been winning. Since my drill comes back faster as I'm under the ground, I'm going to be wanting to drill, dig, and then get my second drill to walk out of spawn, I think. I'm like actually just refiguring out how this hero works micro-wise. Do they still have the perk where... Yeah, okay. Just getting my pressure on Sir Winston. Since my team is not around, I can't really actually do all that much. My Moria's leaning into that left side, my Winston's leaning main, so I am going to be taking this flank area, seeing if I can force any attention onto me. I'm a little bit slow, so I want to be going faster here. Their Cassie is sort of in a good spot to look at me. The rest of their team is walking up, so I'm just going to dig. I'm going to be up here. That way, even if their Cassie backs up, they have to be respecting my threat. They have to be doing something about me. So they end up backing up, getting a lot of space. And I'm the woe. Okay, my execution of this hero might not be good enough to win this game. I know I said it at the start where I'd try one more fight and then swap off, but for real this time. Because I really want to figure it out. I'm having a lot of fun trying to remember how this works. It is still just generally the same concepts, where I want to be taking angles, I want to be taking or forcing their team to look at me a lot. I'm definitely not getting as much value as I need to out of my digs. I think if I use my dig cooldown a little bit differently, I would be finding far more value on this hero. But I'm just going to put the fries in the bag. I want to make sure that I win this game. So I'm going to be going Soldier. The idea behind Soldier is, especially since their team is not very high mobility, the only heroes that are going to be able to traverse the map easily are going to be their Winston and their Vendetta. If I'm able to take sort of consistent angles, it's going to make it really difficult for their team to sort of stabilize anywhere. Like here, I can just immediately take this angle. As their Vendetta steps onto me, that's going to be value in and of itself. So I just back up. I'm just going to be poking down their team the best I can. We force out their Winston bubble. The rest of my team will be going down, but this is going to be the hero that will actually I'll find a lot of value on right now. My execution on Venture is just not up to par, though I think that my ideas were more or less right. I just wasn't using my cooldowns effectively enough. So looking into this fight, we are on Zenyatta and Mei now. We're going to be playing a lot slower, which I think actually will help us with our value on Soldier. Our Zenyatta is going to be going down. I'm looking for damage onto their Detta and trying to clear out the threat inside of us the best that I can. As their Winston sort of steps onto us, we are going to be going down. I think, is Soldier even going to be the play here, that they're on slower stuff? I might need to be on something to actually like be a little bit more aggressive and take more attention early. Oh, Tracer would be so good here. Uh-oh. But they're kind of just running us down, and I'm not having the time to actually get my value. I don't know if there's any playstyle changes I can make, really, to actually change my value. So as soon as I have this opening, it's time for me to actually sort of get active and try to fight this. I hear my Kiriko TP to me, so I want to be holding that space a bit longer than I would. As their Deta sort of steps onto me, I'm going to be wanting to make sure that I'm living. Their guy no longer has their Primal Rage, so I'm able to actually sort of step onto that, pop my Stim Pack, and win that 1v1, though we are going to be down 2 points and 90%. So dire times, but I think this game is definitely so winnable. I'm just going to be needing to poke aggressively since our team has been struggling to actually... I can't get caught out by this Winston. I want to be clearing this area, but unfortunately their Deta's just going to sword main. I'm not able to find the kill onto the Cassidy. Their Winston's able to bubble us off, and our front line's not able to do much, and we're dying with ults. Oh, it's end of the world. It's end of the world. My Winston's the best player in the world. It's Gushwei on an ult. Oh no, not linear the goat. Here they pop their Ray. It's going to be really difficult. We really just want to be buying time to get our rush back into this fight. Really great rush. And it will give us a way to win this fight. They're going to be able to get one more touch here, so I could be poking up aggressively, and I think that it's going to be valuable to do so. But I need to really make sure that I live and my damage is ready to be pumped onto the point when time is really needed. Our Winston had an amazing clutch play there, and I'm really happy that we were able to get that recontest. But now it's time for us to try and take the game into our own hands a bit more. Thinking about this next fight, I do have my visor. Since I got the perk which allows me to use my nades a lot more, I really want to be separate from my Ana. If their Winston's able to jump onto both me and our Ana, it's going to be really difficult for us, and they'll be giving their Winston a lot of sort of free value. But their Winston and Deta are able to get onto me, but it will open up some space onto the map for the rest of my team to push up. We find a nade onto their Deta, but we're not able to really clean it up. What do I change? What do I do? What's the issue right now? Their Winston and Deta were able to take space, and we sort of sat main while doing so. While it was happening, maybe play more aggressive so I'm able to get more value on the lanes whenever I take those sort of flanks, and that way even if their Deta and Winston step onto me, I'll have a lot higher chance of actually getting more value on those flanks. I think that's the play. So here, I'm taking this area, I'm trying to step onto their Juno. I'm actually just using my visor to reload. We're going to find the kill onto the Cassidy. Our Ana hits a great sleep and a nade, and they're going to be popping a bunch of their ultimate abilities. With their Deta and their Winston sort of backing for us, ideally we'd be able to live, but unfortunately that won't be what happens here. But our team is going to be able to use that space to actually follow up and find their own frags. And here we are, back against the wall yet again with 98% down 2 points. I really want to be kind of sneaky here. If I can get a really early pick and be kind of sneaky, I'm going to be trying to bait my team a bit. If they walk this coast, I'm exploded. I'm backing up. Find a really great force onto their Winston, and I'm backing up into my support LOS to try to get some care, and we get nanoed, which is great news for us. Trying to force out their Winston yet again. I really want to just be a constant pressure on this angle as soon as they sort of walk towards us is when we want to be backing up, and as soon as they walk away from us is when we're going to be wanting to take space. I don't want to be going too aggressive here because I don't have my stim back. So I just want to poke up, look for my quick little rocket play, and then chill, still maintaining this angle. Their dead is coming back pretty soon, so I'm giving a little bit of space because I can't afford to get one shot here. Poking down their dead the best that I can. And I'm going to be maintaining this angle. They have to be touching the point. I'm going to be trying to burst down the Winston. Primal Rage coming out onto the point. I need to hit that rocket. Dodging the best that I can. I have my visor, but it will not be enough and we'll be losing this game. Okay. The general ideas that I had on Venture were definitely okay. They were solid and they were finding values when I was able to execute properly, but my execution of those ideas were not good enough because I just don't actually have the raw hours on the heroes to be like actually winning those games. Kind of sucks, kind of unfortunate, but I was not enough to win that game, unfortunately. Their Winston was playing very well. Winston was playing very, very well. All good. Another reversal kind of sucks. We go into demo protection of Masters too. Nothing to get down about though. I don't know how I'm going to be handling friend requests on this account yet. But since Nautilus the first one to recognize that, we'll add Nodelin. Right. Going into, we want to get a Ramatra skin. Oh, the red Ramatra seems tough as fuck. Okay. Going into this next map here, Lijiang, Gibraltar, or Paraiso. And I think that our one random map is going to get selected and will be Samoa. Samoa, a lot of heroes are pretty viable here. I can say that about a lot of maps, but generally I think that leaning a little bit more brawly heroes can be pretty valuable here. But you definitely can play a bit more of like pokey style heroes and more high damage, higher range value, or play for higher range and higher damage values than just sort of like running them down. The points on Samoa change quite a bit, and I think that it would actually be pretty... It's one of the maps that I think that swapping around is not a bad idea whatsoever. I'll respond to this. Okay. Thinking about what we can be playing on this map. Now, I struggled to actually execute my value on heroes like Venture and Soldier in the last game. So I'm thinking potentially that we would want to lean into something a little bit more comfortable for me on DPS. While I've gotten a lot of different DPS to very high ranks, I definitely have my comforts. With the Mauga, I'm going to be playing some Sojourn. The idea behind the Sojourn here is we just want to have some consistent damage to actually follow up onto our Mauga, and if we're in any sort of Brawl Mirror, then we're going to be able to provide a lot of rails pressure to like the enemy team backline. So if we're ever able to hit rails on squishies, it will actually sort of take away a lot of healing from the enemy team. I'm not in a position to really like get helped by my supports, so I'm just going to be chilling. Unfortunately, we TP back. Kind of sucks, so I'm just going to be playing my cover the best that I can and poking down whoever I can. As the Reaper TPs onto us on that left side, we're going to be utilizing our slide to get away from them, as we don't want to be going onto them. Got him. in this. As people sort of like approach us as Sojourn here, we just want to make sure that we are ready to fight if we can. Since we had the percentage, I was more willing to actually slide into their backline and stall, but maybe it was just been better for me to just die straight up or die on the cart. But if I was able to pull some people off of the point and gain our percent a little bit, then it would be very chill for us. I'm going to be taking this right side area as our Mauga gets their E-Force a little bit early. It's going to kind of suck. I want to be... As I force out this Reaper a bit more, that's going to be like one of the main threats to us and what we want to actually be doing, which is just pumping in this consistent damage and being a threat to their team. So the Reaper's going to walk up. Our Sojourn on this high ground. It's actually kind of a yucky spot for us, so we're going to be going for a bit more of an aggressive play. As the Reaper walks onto our Mauga, we're going to go down. I saw them getting into some pretty good spots on the map and being able to pressure out my team a lot, so I wanted to make some sort of aggressive play or miracle play happen to turn that disadvantaged state we were in around. There are more ways to sort of recognize if you're at a disadvantaged state than just like if you're down people. It's gonna, like, being down picks is gonna be the most obvious way to tell if you are if you really need to make some sort of play happen, but it's not going to be the only way whatsoever. As our Mauga goes down and the Reinhardt sort of slashes onto us, their overclock is going to be popped. I really wanted to try to clear out that Reaper inside of our space as fast as I could, but we are just not able to find the actual kills or the pressure that we need when we need it. And maybe this right side, I was overvaluing the right side, and I needed to start playing more stacked main or through the left. I really want to be in a position to touch, but I think that's going to be really hard. As the Reinhardt steps onto us on the right side, their Sojourn is going to be able to throw a slow onto our kite path. They are dumping ult on the point, and we don't have the ultimate abilities to match. Our Juno gets a ray off as we go down a little bit, and we're going to be losing this again. Okay, what do I need to change? What's going on here? I'm not finding kills that I need. I'm not forcing out the enemy team's win con, nor am I enabling my team's win con enough. So how can I win this game?
Or expect to lose.
I think I go Tracer. Tracer is going to be one of the most comfortable heroes for me to execute ideas on, just because I have the most amount of raw hours on the hero. And as well as it will enable me to be playing in a very sort of self-sufficient way. I'm going to be able to hold down a lot of space that my team maybe wouldn't want to be playing in. And ideally forcing out big threats. So that Reaper's on that right side. There's not actually going to be too much I can do about that, so I'm just going to be pressuring their Sojourn, making sure I don't commit, especially since they have the rail. I really don't want to get one shot, but I do want to be using my mobility and taking the attention away from my Mauga to allow them to sort of get into that fight aggressively. So the Reaper's going to TP onto the point. I kind of want to stall if I can, making sure that I'm out of the Reaper's effective range the best I can, though it is going to be a lot harder now that Reaper was just buffed, and as soon as my recall gets forced, I really don't want to be tangling on the point that much longer, so I'm going to be taking this left side and trying to open up the fight in a similar fashion to what I just did. We won that fight, but unfortunately they were able to get the sort of cap. We weren't able to clean up effectively. So I'm just going to be pressuring their Sojourn, anyone who they allow me to get onto. And zoning whoever I can and pulling whatever resources I can. I'm low on blinks, but since my recall is back in just a moment, I'm still playing somewhat aggressively. As I hear the Reaper TP on the right side, I have a decision. I can either try to match the 1v1 or I can be taking other space on the map. I think I am going to opt for pressuring other space on the map because I really don't want this Sojourn free shooting. We poked them out a little bit. Oh, I missed my pulse. As they put a bunch of resources into our front line, I could have the idea of, could I actually like win that, or could I try to pull away resources somewhere else? If I was able to find the kill onto the Mizuki, I would have been in a really good position to actually pinch and blow up people who are inside of our space, but I missed the pulse bomb onto the Mizuki. Maybe I just need a pickaxe. My execution of my ideas is not good enough, then I need to clean up my execution. We are able to find the kill onto their Sojourn. I'm just going to angle this Reinhardt, making it possible for my Mauga to sort of actually shoot the guy. I really want to be cleaning up the point as fast as possible. I can't let this Reaper stand on there much longer, nor can I let the cat stand on there much longer, so I'm just trying to clear out the point in whatever ways I can so we can actually get the flip and start winning the game. Their cat goes down pretty early here, and I'm wondering if I should pulse bomb their Reinhardt. Don't need to, as the Reinhardt falls pretty low and we just were able to find the kill onto the cat, so they're not actually going to have as much healing as they need to sustain our Mauga walk. But unfortunately, I was not carrying the rail from the Sojourn that was built off of my Mauga, and we will be going down to a quick headshot. Making sure that I'm just aware of the threats that can kind of blow me up is going to be pretty important, especially on a really squishy hero like Tracer. When I'm 175 HP, there's going to be a gazillion things that can kind of explode me. So making sure that I'm just sort of keeping track of them and marking them out the best that I can is going to be really important. My Mauga pins back, which means that I'm going to be also giving a little bit more space. Since they were looking at me on this angle, it's going to be hard for me to actually find value. But as our Surgeon slides over here, I'm going to fight that quick little 2v1 with my Moira, who's holding the space with me. I don't need to do that much, but as I hear the Reinhardt pin in, that's going to be my trigger to actually sort of start stepping and finding some value on their backline. Generally, when you're defending, a pretty good rule of thumb is when they do something is when you want to do something. You don't have to do anything until they're actually making a real threat for you. So their cat goes down, and I think Tracer definitely was the right swap. I don't think that it was my ideas that were the issue in the past few games. I think that it was straight up my execution. Maybe I just haven't been playing enough DPS lately. Maybe I'm just not as comfortable on the heroes as I used to be. But I will fix that through a lot of raw numbers and just raw hours. Maybe even tonight. Thinking about this next point here, the Reaper's going to be a lot stronger. The Reinhardt's also going to be in a pretty good spot because they're able to get onto our team very easily. I'm wondering if Tracer's still the pick. Cassidy could be something. Sierra could be something. Emre. I am going to stick Tracer, at least for now. Just because I think that I was finding a lot of value onto their backline. I'm able to find some kills pretty consistently and pressure onto these areas. And if I get the Reaper to look at me, that means that they're not looking at my Mauga. And that's a good thing for us. Railgun comes out, or Railgun peeks me, so I immediately want to be switching to a pattern or a movement sort of pattern that will make it really, really difficult to hit that rail. Playing super aggressive because I have my blink perks to get out, as well as their Juno is well within my range. I see one person on card. If I see the people on point get low, I would just like kind of triple blink back. I am going to recall just because I'm kind of low HP and I want my supports to be focused on actually carrying the point. I do fall pretty low, so I'm just going to be backing up, grabbing this mini. The supports are looking at me a lot, so I'm just gonna AFK. I'm ready to blink out if I need to, but holding the space and just being kind of a threat is going to be decent value. They're on casting now, so I need to be a little bit more careful with the space that I'm taking. As they go down though, it's going to be time for us to get active. I'm going to be taking this angle, finding my way onto their Juno. Their character goes down, Juno falls very 1 HP, and my Maga takes them out as well. Here, going to be taking this right side area. I see that they have rail, so I'm going to wait until rail's out actually, until I do anything. Holding the space can be a little bit scary, but it's because I have the long distance blink perks and the health pack perk, and the health pack right there is completely up for grabs. I'll be fairly safe here. My Moira goes down, but I am able to get out after we finally go into the Juno. Elara looks for their son, so I'm just going to be putting myself in a spot to follow up on that the best I can. I'm very close to my recall, so I'm going to be fighting this Sojourn, as I know that I have my sort of safety net to actually back up onto. And we will be winning this game. Okay. With DPS especially, what mechanics are is, like, actually when a hero requires, like, heavy mechanics or being able to hit your shots, is the general execution of your ideas. That's going to be like the most important to really like get down, especially for a lot of DPS heroes, because ultimately Overwatch is a micro based game. If you actually don't hit the shots when they like super matter, or you're not able to find the value on the hero, even if your idea is theoretically right, then you either need to adjust how you're playing and play for some sort of different value that you can execute, or you need to clean up your methods of execution on your ideas of value. So I've been struggling a lot lately with my actual like finding the value that I need to on a lot of heroes. But I don't think that the ideas are actually wrong. I think that is my execution of them, and I think that I just need to sort of clean up my mechanics to be able to play a wider variety of the DPS heroes. Support and tank, I've been constantly grinding and competing on for the past several years, but only like I played 2 Face It seasons ago on Flex DPS for a Masters team, and I did pretty well, but it was mainly just Genji, Tracer, like Symmetra. So these are going to be like my super comfortable heroes, but I need to put in or sink in more time to execute properly on other heroes, which I'm probably going to do tonight. Okay. Taking a look at chat here. Looked at a lot of season 1 hero tier list videos, and they all put Genji at B/C right now. Do I agree? Yeah, Genji's probably around like B tier. I don't think that they're the strongest hero in the game, but I think that they are fairly good. They have a lot of instances where they're going to be one of the highest value DPS picks that you can play. But they're not like outstanding, especially at least in last season. Vendetta was just going to be able to do a lot of things that Genji could do, but a little bit better. But Genji is definitely not an unplayable hero by any means, and if you're more comfortable on executing your ideas on Genji compared to Vendetta, then you would find more value over time. Comfort is a very valuable thing to recognize in yourself as a player, because execution of ideas is just so important. Whatever you can find your value on is what you need to play to. But I do play quite a bit of Genji. Last game probably, looking at time. How many have I played? That was my second game, right? Yeah, I think so. What do I think of Vendetta after this patch? I don't fully understand, or I don't comprehend exactly how Vendetta's been changed. Fundamentally, they're going to be a very strong hero. I don't think that the armor nerf, I think if the armor nerf or the general HP nerfs put them within threshold range of like a lot of heroes like 1-taps or 2-taps, Vendetta could be significantly weaker in this patch. But they are going to be generally pretty strong still at what they do, especially if they're going to have like a Zarya and a Kiriko to carry them on their steps. I think Vendetta can be really strong, but maybe in like solo queue, maybe they can be a bit harder because you're able to actually stay in a lot less than you probably or maybe could previously. But I don't know for sure. As Overwatch is like a micro-based game in the end, and the execution is really important. I don't know how much harder it is to execute and find your value on Vendetta. We see here we have a Kiriko, Lucio, and a Freya and Ramatra. I am going to play Genji here, actually. Just because you were talking about in chat, there are a lot of heroes that could be viable or could be played. There's a lot of value that I could play into. I could play Bastion, I could play Emery, I could play Onion, I could play Tracer, but I'm going to play Genji just because I've been struggling a little bit lately on flexing. So I'm going to do I'm going to be leaning into things a bit more comfortable to make sure that I'm able to win the game. Making sure that like you're recognizing what's comfortable for you is going to be like the most important thing that you can do as a player if you're struggling with your execution. We are able to enable our team to find a lot of kills there just by distracting the supports in that fight. But this will be getting pretty close. So Kiriko TP's out and finds her way onto the point. I'm going to see if I can get this kill. I do have my deflect to be able to stabilize and kite back to my team. So I wasn't too concerned about dying there. There's some Metro TPs on that left side and their Cassidy blocks on the right. I really need to stable as their Cassidy forces me out. So I'm just going to be chilling and thinking about how I want to retake later. As I see their Queen walking up right side, I'm going to block this left. My Ram is pushing them into me here. And we are going to be chilling, just getting a sort of survey, lay of the land. I'm going to be pressuring out their Cassidy and their Lucio, but as I don't need to anymore, I'm just going to back up and try to clean up whoever's still chilling on the point. And we will be winning this point. Looking at this fight, I have my blade, we have our rush. I think that my Kiriko wants to be rushing here. I'm going to be trying to sort of just observe how the fight's going with my blade. And now that beats force on our rush, they're using their noon. It's going to be timed pretty soon. As soon as they pull this noon, it's probably going to be when I want to be popping my blade. And Lucio's not going to be able to catch out their Lucio there, so we're just going to be backing up and trying to clean up whoever we can on the point, but their Symmetra is just going to find the frag onto us during our kite. But that is okay. The ult trade went into our favor. They used their high noon, they used their beat. I don't think that they rushed. So they're going to be having their rush Queen ult and close to their sim wall coming up on this fight. We're going to be down ults, especially since all of those are really huge game-winning ults. I want to be trying to force as many of them as I can in this fight. Even if we lose this fight, it'll be fine. But I really just need to find a way to force value. So I'm going for aggressive plays. Their Cassidy's a little bit split. And they use their sim wall. I'm able to peel their Lucio and their Kiriko's attention for a little bit to care their Cassidy. So we're going to find the trade onto their Symmetra, and that will be a positive trade overall for us. Because they have to use an ult on top of actually just like trading out and finding the kill. Oh, I wasn't able to block the axe. That's okay. I'm playing probably a little bit too fast, but since they were using a bunch of ultimates and they were putting themselves in a spot in which will give us an advantage later, I wanted to just be trying to squeeze out as much of it as I could. But maybe I could have chilled there. I think probably I could have chilled there. I just like playing aggressive to see if I can find any miracle picks because I'm the worst. What was that dash? Okay. I actually just need to calm down. Okay. I entered my brains out in that fight, but my team is going to be closing on some ults, so I think that my best play here is going to be just actually sort of stepping onto the point and chilling. Uh-oh. Their Cassidy is going to use their flashbang onto us, which is not exactly the value that we really want, and our Mantra is not going to be able to fully step off of that. So we're just going to be doing our best to live here. So unfortunately not be the case. That's okay. I definitely threw that point, and I've been playing way too aggressively, especially into their Symmetra. Their Symmetra is going to make it pretty hard to actually find any value because we don't want to be poking into their comp. Their Cassie's going to outrange us. Their Kirika's going to outrange us. Their Symmetra orbs are going to outrange us. So we don't want to be poking, but it's also going to be really, really hard to be going in and finding brawls onto their team. While Genji's still like probably playable here, maybe it's out of my skill range as a player, so I might be swapping or leaning into something like a Sojourn, perhaps? My queen does go down, so I'm just going to be maintaining this sort of angle and poking them out. I'm just going to be waiting for opportunities to use my blade and turn this game back into our favor. Since our queen is down, they teleport onto me. I don't really want to be fighting this, and that since they have their speed boost, I just want to be chilling the best that I can. As they commit onto us, it's going to be time for us to actually pop our blade as we draw out a lot of their resources. It'll make it much easier for us to find value with our blade as well as stay alive since we have that lifesteal perk. But as our team comes back, they pop with their ults onto us, which makes it kind of a big ult fight and will turn in our favor, which is wonderful. Making sure that I carry the idea of their queen walking on me. Getting in and getting out whenever I can to sort of find that kill, like, especially against their comp, since there are so many things that can go wrong on my engages. I just really want to be disciplined. Don't know where their Kiriko went, and I find them. And we'll be closing out this game. Or not game, the fight. I think that generally playing the slower sort of style and really waiting for my engages is definitely the adjustment that I needed to start finding more value on these fights. During this fight in particular, since I just have so many ults, it's going to be really, really hard for us. Our team is chilling, so we will as well. I took as much aggro as we could. I tried to find a pick onto their Cassidy, but I was not able to find them. My team is looking to be staged to engage again. My player goes low, and my Winston gets walked at, but I'm in position to actually step. The Kiriko's looking at me, which means that they're not healing their team. My Winston goes in and pops Primal. Since I'm low, I really need to chill. My Kiriko TPs me and gets some healing off. He comes out from the enemy team. This is going to allow us to be a lot more active in fights, or in the fight later. Lucio is still on me, so I really need to not be in a committal position. I want to try to farm my blade if I can. I don't know if it's winnable. Yeah, I don't think I can win that. Oh well. I think we're definitely playing better, and if we just sort of keep adapting and keep adjusting a little bit, then we're going to be looking in a really good spot to actually win this game. I might swap Tracer, just because it's even more comfortable for me. With the Symmetra on right side and their queen on right. Our queen walking on this left side, and they're all peeling back from my Winston. Winston does not have Primal. I'll be going down. I don't really want to be committing my blade here. I think that's really hard for us to be able to win this fight. I think I maybe could have gotten more active as my Winston sort of took aggression. This Symmetra is going to be really hard to fight on lanes, especially since they have their perk up, which will basically act as their teleporter, being a pylon. So I'm going to be wanting to blade and swap pretty quickly here. I'm going to open up this fight with Blade, looking at their Lucio. I believe that they are pretty close to their beat. Trying to put myself in a spot where I can force out their beat with my Blade, as well as live afterwards. So I'm going to be dashing to a point, and we force out their noon. Their queen starts to walk at us. I'm going to do my best to live. We do get the point flip. The Cassie's back main. That's going to be our ideal target to get onto, which we are going to be able to get onto. The symmetric turrets are really scary, and their Junker Queen is going to hit a really nice knife onto us, but we took out a lot of their team. So hopefully we're going to be able to turn that around, but their Lucio is going to help them come back really, really fast, and so is their Symmetra. I'm swapping the Tracer just because I'm not finding the value that I need to on Genji. It really sucks. So I can get first touch. My team is going to go down though. So the only way that I can really win this is win the 1v1, 2v1, 3v1. And I will slowly bleed to death. Something's an issue. I know what it is. There's either the issue of I'm not playing for easy enough value, or the most consistent value that I can, or I'm lacking the skills to find the value that I need to find. And to make sure that I really understand what's going wrong and properly analyze how I can fix it, it's time for a self-audit review. Overwatch is a sum zero game. God damn it. Damn. Okay. Overwatch is a sum zero game. You're either going to win, you're going to lose, or you're going to draw. The goal of being a good player is to win more than you lose. And if you are losing too frequently, then the only thing that you can really change is you. So I'm going to be looking at this VOD and seeing if there's going to be something that I can actually do. So is this play valuable? They use their wall onto our front line, and they start aggressing onto our tank. So I pressure their Cassidy, who is split from the rest of the team, and I give their team a choice. They're either going to leave this up to chance, and either I'm going to kill their Cassidy if they ignore it, or they're going to turn around and care them, which will take away value from this commitment that they've used on our front line. I do believe that this is a valuable play, but to really put it into context, so their Lucio and their Kiriko back up, but because of that, their Symmetra's not getting healed, their Queen's not getting healed, and our Ramatra's able to find a pick onto the Symmetra and trade us out, even though they did use an ultimate for that spot. So they're going to be down an ult after that fight, down 2 ults, which I think is going to be generally fairly valuable. And since they use another ult, we step in very aggressively, trying to see if we can sort of turn around any miracle or make any miracle happen to turn the fight around. Because if we were able to take that advantage that they just committed with their ultimate away from them, then we're going to be in a really, really good spot for the game. Thank you for playing Genji. Do I usually get the Lifesteal Miner perk? Yeah, I usually get the Lifesteal Miner perk just because it makes it way more consistent to find value on Dragon Blades. And this is the worst play ever. This is a terrible play in every regard. This is what's known as an int. Why did I want to do that? Was it because I was kind of feeling myself mechanically and I wanted to just sort of like frag out? Though realistically, that's basically an impossible one shot for anyone to hit.
but I adjusted in the later part of this game. But this is basically already like pretty deep into the game. So what about this play? What are my issues? What are my consistent issues? What's losing me fights? So I walk up to the point, I get slowed by their Symmetra turrets, and I get flashbanged. The idea of this play was to pressure them to go to point by walking up and sitting under them to force resources away from my front line without being in such a committal position as like dashing into their back line and forcing them to turn for me that way. If that's the idea, the execution of it is poor because I'm walking through their poke DPS LOS. Their Symmetra is able to slow down my walk with their turret. Their Cassie is able to force out my deflect, which is going to be a significant part of my survivability on the point. So this is bad pathing. The idea of forcing them to point, I think, is fine. But my execution of it by pathing through this huge open space is going to basically take away most of my value of that idea. Because now, after they force me out, I back up, they pop their noon, my team tries to walk, and we just sort of like blow up. Yeah, playing more passive when their team has beams definitely is the play. And I adjusted in a way to play more passively, but it looks like my pathing was still very much an issue. And this was also an issue earlier when we were recording the tank video. So it seems like today, at least from that fight and remembering our issues previously, our pathing was what we're consistently screwing up. So let's take a look in this fight. So here, we're sort of taking the angle through this left side. This is very, very strong and good. It's going to be very hard for them to commit onto us. I think that this is poor pathing, though. I think as I see them sort of commit onto this area, I should be walking away from spots that they are able to easily contest or sort of catch out. I should be pathing towards this area because even with their Lucio and their Symmetra, if they chase me all the way over here, I'll be able to pop my blade and sort of fight that 1v2 away from the Symmetra TP, away from the Junker Queen, the Cassidy, and the Kiriko, and it will also enable my team to walk in with a 3v4 on the front line. Me pathing back this main area allows them to have a chance actually to sort of blow me up or catch me out, and it will take away 3 ultimates from my team, and we're going to be at an ult disadvantage the rest of this point. Okay. It's pathing. The ideas that I'm having and the logic behind them, I believe, are fine. My execution, the actual shots that I'm hitting are fine. But my pathing is the struggle point when it comes to executing the ideas right now. So for these next games, to test my theory on why I'm losing and see if I'm able to adapt, I'm going to be playing in a way that I'm just going to be focusing on making sure that I'm pathing in the best way possible to actually accomplish my job, my ideas. Also, I don't know how long ago it was, but thank you so much for the follow, TBM. With that said, as I'm thinking a little bit more about my pathing and my positioning for these next few games, let's make sure that my aim is kind of within my subconscious. If I'm able to, or if I'm focusing a little bit more towards my pathing, then it means that I won't be able to put as much focus towards my aim. So let's make sure that my aim is good. What hero would be best to practice that on? I think clicking would be strong. It's like Widow. Man, that's about no. I stayed on Venture too long. You're good, bro. I think it's definitely, and it's something I've noticed it's the main thing that I was fucking up in my match too earlier, was just I was putting myself in really poor positions. My pathing to accomplish the ideas was just very poor. So it's been a consistent theme throughout today. Some days I think that players will have, like, you will have very overarching issues, but there are going to be some days where specific aspects about the game are just going to be harder for whatever reason, just because brains are kind of weird. But to maintain being a good player and really make sure that you're improving the best that you can is just sort of hammering any sort of big mistakes or any frequent problems that keep coming up into your subconscious, so that eventually they just become second nature, or it just becomes habit for you to path in ways or fix whatever issue you're having so that you won't have it again in the future. So probably for the next while of my queues, I'm going to make sure that my pathing is very, very clean. If that's been an issue for multiple games on multiple roles, then it means that the issues arose again. While I have fixed it before and I've focused on it before, improvement's not linear. Sometimes you're going to run into the same issues again and again. But it's part of the process. You're going to get a little bit better at it each time. Oh, I did not answer that. Hey, sorry if you answered already, but how do you get those clean blinks on Tracer? I feel like if I have to flick really hard when you blink and it kind of throws your aim off. Making sure that you're on a sense really comfortable for you on Tracer is going to be really, really important, especially. Sensitivity usually doesn't doesn't matter like all that much, as long as it's something comfortable for you. Check how many DPS games it's been. Okay. Oh, but it would be so cool if if in the video, like, so I'm going wrong, like the past like 2 videos on DPS have been like going wrong. I know I'm a good player. I have champ DPS accounts. I know I can get up there. But sometimes things will struggle. Why am I back in the VOD? It'd be so cool to be able to like sort of show like, okay, you run into an issue like consistently and you start losing games. How do you adjust? How do you win? That'd be so cool. I'd love to, if I'm able to start winning now based off of recognizing my issue. Oh, that'd be sick. Oh, that'd be sick. But back to the Tracer comment of, it's only been 3 games, Ash. I think. Yeah, King's Row was, we ended King's Row on tank. Played Maga. Okay. With Tracer especially, you want to be on a very comfortable sense, and to know that you're on a comfortable sense, you want to be able to do a 360 like very like freely. You want to be very, very comfortable, like just sort of like doing 360s consistently. And it will allow you to have the range of motion to actually maintain like control over your mouse as you sort of like go for those really big flicks, because you will have to flick a lot on Tracer. You're going to have those really big flicks, because if you blink behind someone, the only way to get your crosshair actually onto them is just to do that 180. So with Tracer especially, you're going to be adjusting your aim quite a bit, and you're going to be following sort of like a lot of like reactive tracking. You're on 805 right now, and it's just a bit too slow. Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of Tracer players especially are going to have some of the higher senses, just so that they're able to make those big flicks and still be in a position with their hand that will be like comfortable for them to sort of like aim and adjust. Something that I do a bit regularly is whenever I'm flicking on Tracer, is I usually try to like go back to the position that my hand was in like immediately after like I'm done blinking. But generally making sure that you're at a comfortable sense is going to be really important, especially on Tracer. But here you can see like I'm over flicking, and the two skills that you're going to have honestly generally in flicking in general is going to be like your really big flick, like your really big flicks, how good are like your huge massive flicks, and then your sort of corrective flicks. It's a really common sort of idea in aiming and aim training in general to have a two-step flick process of you're going to make a big flick and then a little flick to adjust consistently, and that's definitely going to be pretty true on Tracer, but you're going to lean a lot more into your tracking. Ways to improve your big flicks especially is, I mean, Vaxa trains it by default because you're just going to be shooting at targets that move in pretty similar patterns to how people will move in game. So the more competent and more... Oh, I joined the practice range, not a custom game. So the more like sort of time you spend in here, and the more you actually really focus on your blinks, and then sort of imagining and getting really comfortable with your blinks and where they're actually at, and where you end up is going to be like really important. That's why a lot of Tracer players end up not picking the extended blink distance perk, because it's just so important for them to really know exactly where they're going to end up on their blinks, and it's really difficult for people to adjust. And like I was mentioning a little bit earlier, whatever is comfortable for you to execute is going to be very high value. But if you're just able to really sort of like think about where you're going to be going and thinking about your blinks in a way that is going to enable your aim to be actually easier, it's going to be a really important sort of thing to think about while you're practicing on Tracer. It's going to sound a little bit silly here, but say for example on Tracer, sometimes if you are struggling to track a hero who's like AD strafing, like back and forth strafing, then it might be better to blink to their side instead of just straight up behind them. While it's a lesser distance for their crosshair to like need to move to actually get onto you, it will make your aiming easier, because if they're going side to side and you blink to their side, then it's going to look like they're just sort of standing still on your screen. You're going to have to aim like a lot less. It's just like one example. There's a lot of sort of ideas that you can be using with your blinks, and the micro for Tracer is so cool. It's so cool. I love Tracer micro. There's so much depth to it. But making sure that you're actually able to put your blinks and put yourself into positions where you want to be with your blinks is going to be really important. Overwatch University says 20% of games are usually unwinnable. What do I think about that? It used to be, at least. And if it helps you stay in a good mindset and focus on the winnable games, then that is fine. That is super fine, to think or to feel like 20% of games are unwinnable. I used to have that mentality, and that kept me grinding for hours and hours and hours and hours, where I would say like I used to tell myself like 30% of games are unwinnable, 30% of games are like insta won, and then like a bunch of them I would actually have like impact on, and that would keep me queuing for long periods of time. But I'm gonna play Cass. Cass is not the best hero here, but since I'm focusing on one specific aspect of my gameplay because I've been losing, I really don't think that the hero pick is actually going to be that important. But I really need to get my pathing down. My pathing is what's really, really important here. So they're going to be on Reaper. Thinking about what my value is as a hero, I just want to be shooting a bunch. I want to be putting myself to shoot in positions and find potential frags onto their team. So chilling main until something opens up is going to be fine. Reaper TP's above. So we're going to back up and shoot them, just making sure that I'm maintaining my CDs to be able to follow that is going to be fine. Can I walk up? Nobody's on the cart. If I were to walk up, I could take that left side angle, but it might be risky because I'm outside of my team's LOS, and if they DM me, then my Ana wouldn't be able to carry me. So probably into their comp, I don't want to be taking any big flanks on Cassidy. I don't want to be fighting on lanes that much. I just want to be sort of chilling main and shooting my gun, and most of my value is going to come from my aim, and my pathing probably isn't going to be that crazy. So the Freya is able to walk at this main. I definitely think that I could have passed towards the right side, so that's another thing that I need to be thinking about for my pathing, is as they send their threats onto me, where do I want to kite to? How do I want to live? What can give me the best uptime possible to shoot them and click them? Reaper's top left. And with their Ana on that right side, Reaper's on right. My Winston's taking space main. So because I see them sort of out of their next, I can be walking on this right side, as well as it will be maintained inside my Ana LOS. It'll be able to support my Winston in whatever fight that they're fighting. And it will be winning this fight. My Winston is able to take a lot of aggression. I could take that top left area and I could go for an aggressive play, but I think that just playing main or stacking main is going to be the play here. God damn, my Winston's good. I don't need to be fancy. I don't need to take any big angles. While I sort of, by default, my nature and my sort of comfortability as a player, I think, might be to be going on those like big flanks. Here, recognizing I can just sit main in almost every fight. I think if I get pressured here, I want to kite back main and not to this high ground. Because even though high ground feels really good, it's going to be a little bit more split from my team. And like I was mentioning earlier, because their team is going to be a little bit higher mobility and their D.Va is able to cut off my Ana's healing, I think they can be really good. I think that's okay to path towards this right side because their D.Va is going to be in a pretty sticky spot if they wanted to try to peel me. But as I see their D.Va go on this right side, I'm just going to play main again. The Reaper TPing in, I want to be stepping forward and to be ready to help my Ana and be a little bit more stacked on my team. As the Freya steps up, I'm no longer able to live with my Ana, so I'm just going to be backing up more main. Cutting to this health pack is just going to be the only way that I can really get healing. And we are going to be able to live, making sure that I don't peek this like doorway. I think that we got decent value there. We didn't hit all the shots that we needed. I definitely could have killed the Reaper, I think. I was a little bit better with my aiming. I need to just go this top right. If I walk through main, then it would just be a really free pick for our D.Va. I just can't be getting split much. So while this might feel a little bit yucky, my Genji's about to take a bunch of aggro and maybe allow us to walk. But they're just gonna pop their ults. But we back up. As my Winston's close, I'm waiting for my Ana to respawn so I'm able to sort of get the healing. I'm wondering where my pathing should be. I wanted to go top right, but since I don't want to get split, I'm just gonna walk main with my Ana. So I think this will yield in more value. And their Reaper goes low and walks into our back line. And I missed my headshot, unfortunately. But as it goes, is my positioning a mistake there? The value that I want to play for is my gun. I want to be having the best raw damage numbers possible, and things can go very wrong, and I will not be able to find the value on my gun if I were taking more flanks. Though I did miss the shot, which really sucks. We do have a cat now, so I can be playing for blinding this fight. Making sure that I'm paying attention to their D.Va, as that's going to be the main way to sort of like shut me down. No longer having a cat, but that's going to be fine, especially with this brig will sort of further reinforce the stacking motif that we've been playing for. Damn. I'm going to be passing in this bottom right area, as I think that it will be the best place for me and my brig to go, and it's continuing to take this left side. I'm going to be dropping off the high ground because it will allow me to play a bit more towards our open space. Finding the headshot onto the fray is going to be really, really nice, and I think that as long as I'm staying within my brig LOS and my brig Inspire range, just the only thing that really mattered there was just making sure that there's as much distance between me and their D.Va as possible. And dropping off the high ground was going to extend my time to live just a little bit longer and allow me to find the extra headshot onto the Freya. I think that my pathing is getting better. I think I'm making the right choices here. My Genji goes down. I don't want to be playing on that angle, and yep, if I stayed on that angle, their D.Va would have definitely just flown at me. So I'm just going to sit main and shoot them. Simple as that. I walked forward a little bit too much when I could have just been playing a little bit further back and waiting for opportunities to shoot my gun. I just wanted to get onto their D.Va a little bit too eagerly, and that will be my death there. My supports are able to force out their D.Va, so we're just going to try to clean them up on point. I could maybe step up. I could maybe take the high ground, but I think that as my supports are stacked on card, I'll just stack on card as well. They don't actually have crazy angles that they really... They have Blossom. They have Blossom. They have Blossom. I'm actually backing up because they have Blossom, and I want to be putting myself in a spot that makes it harder for the Reaper to find value. So Nano comes out onto the Reaper. They're going to be looking for some sort of TP play onto me. I'm just walking up to the cart. So if it gets onto me, I just want to back up. Extend my uptime, allow myself to shoot as much as I can. This will blossom. No, I wanted the mini. How did I perform that round? I missed the shot on the Reaper Blossom on second. First point was good. I pathed left instead of right when I needed to kite inside towards the Mega. Third point, I stepped up a little bit too early. But I'm surviving a long time in these fights and giving myself a lot of chances to hit the shots that I need to hit. Are my mechanics good enough? Am I hitting enough shots to sort of win this game? Maybe.
What's up? Hey. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Hey, hey.
I think that for now, I think Cassidy still might be good. Still might work.
Hey. Hey.
So,
My ultimate is
I'll stick it. It'll also pair really well with our Brig and our Ana. It'll be comfortable for me. As long as I'm just focusing on my pathing and staying alive as long as I can, it'll be okay. Okay, I think we can win this. I'm so used. I had the silver bullet, so I thought that I was gonna zoom in. Make sure I don't fall off this high ground. I think that as long as I just sort of like let them swing into me, we should be chilling and be going for plays as I need them. This can be pretty important. He was on that left side. The Reaper's on the right, so we just want to turn our attention to clear out the big threat on us. As their Reaper's out and their D.Va doesn't have fly, their Freya doesn't have bolts, and poke up a bit, but now that their threats are coming back online, it's time for us to back and chill. I think just staying on this high ground is going to be pretty good. I want to be poking up though. As the D.Va steps up, it's going to be important for us to back. Just trying to poke however we can, making sure that their D.Va is not able to play the game safely or easily. If we can just shoot whoever we can shoot, I think we'll be okay and not get forced out here. They're going to be D.Va's walking up, so I'm going to be matching this aggression just a little bit. I don't want to be getting shot at by their longer range heroes. Taking my time to line up that shot because it's really important that the Reaper dies there, and I have a little bit of time to do so. They're D.Va on point. I think that we're just chilling. I mean, there's not really much pathing to really think about here, but there's a lot of little smaller positioning things that I'm able to think about. With Reaper walking back up, they're getting forced out, so I think I can even just drop here and poke up. Only getting like 1 or 2 shots here, as it'll take quite a while for me to get back onto this high ground, and I need to make sure that I'm giving myself adequate time to actually just walk up here. The D.Va's on the left side. Ideally we want to be putting ourselves in the spot where we can poke them out. We fall pretty low. I just want to be chilling. The Reaper goes down, and I hear that the Nano came out somewhere, but I just don't know where, so I want to be safe. Freya's on that left side, D.Va's still walking up. I just want to make sure that I'm okay, as they're putting a bunch of attention into me. Just want to chill. I'm not able to hold that high ground anymore, so I'm just going to drop. And if their D.Va steps at me, it's going to be really, really difficult for them to actually like secure the kill. And I think we'll be... Their Freya's fine. What? How the fuck did their Freya find so much? Was that bad pathing? Could I have fought that high ground? I need to fight that high ground this time here, okay? Reaper's up top. If I want to win, the Reaper has to go first. Could I have backed up? I could have been paying attention to my Genji and determined that I could have kited into one of the tunnels. Oh my god, my hero. Yeah, D.Va had enough health resources in DM as well as their Freya was swinging left side. I wasn't able to actually fight both of them at the same time. So I want to be more stacked on my team. D.Va swinging this right side. I'm going to drop and fight inside here. My Ana's pathing this back lane area. So I just want to make sure that they're not able to step down the rest of my team here. Make sure I'm checking behind me, and as my supports are kind of out this main, I just want to make sure that I'm kind of around them. Reaper's close with Blossom. Freya's main, I can't path in that open bridge area. Oh no, Freya's right side? Who's main? I think that we're chilling for now. Reaper's up top. And we will will be chilling. I think that we played that fairly well, recognizing all of the threats sort of playing around us and still putting ourselves in positions to actually find the value that we needed to. Reaper's up top with Blossom, so I'm actually going to path a little bit away, even especially since our Diva's over there. I can fight this 1v1 on the Ana. Ana dies. Break is under. I'm not able to clear them out, but they are just going to be stuck in us. Back up. I need to make sure that I'm not getting double bolted by their Freya. Brick goes off the map. I think that we're chilling here. I think that we're pathing well. Recognizing where we can path and where the best spots are to accomplish our goals. As they're walking up that right side, I want to be cutting this corner and staring at their Freya the best that I can. I'm going to be popping my Moon, I think. And dropping on the Reaper. Yeah, Brig low. I want to make sure I save my roll. Getting inside this room the earliest I can. Reaper uses their Fade and their Blossom. My Diva uses the Bomb. Is not able to find anything, unfortunately. But will that be okay? I think I'll go Tracer to touch. Since I just don't have my ultimate, it'd be really nice to get a contest here. I think that would be the only hero to do it. My Diva's on the point. What's my most value here? I think that just poking up this Freya. My Diva's off the point. And if Freya finds some shots onto me. But I think that's chill. Wondering I could swap here. I have a swap opportunity. Is Tracer's pretty good. Genji's pretty good. I think Tracer's gonna be the play here. The idea is that I'm able to get onto their Freya pretty consistently, but now my pathing's gonna be a lot different. My Emery's on that right side. Or that left side. I'm wondering if pathing over there would be better, or if playing this right side so I can be a little bit more of a threat would be better. As the Freya sort of backs up, I need to make sure that I'm chilling now, that I don't have the resources to really hold that space, but with that Reaper walking up, I think stacking here will be okay. I think there's any nano, I can't really do much about that. I'm gonna look for a play like that. The Reaper is really just on me, so I can't touch. When my Diva goes on, then I'm staged behind them. Maybe I'm the whoa. Maybe suddenly, like, I just go from a champ player to a masters player. It's not the case. But I am losing, and that's a fact. I'm losing these games consistently. And there's some big issue that needs to be solved. Wondering what it is. I'm positive it's not the ideas what I'm playing for. Unless, actually, hold on. Now this is like super theory crafting as to what could be my issues on DPS. Since I'm still winning on support, I'm still winning on tank consistently, but I'm not winning on DPS. I don't think that my mechanics have dropped that much. I don't think that my understanding of the game has dropped at all. So now I want to see if the game has changed in a way to make the things that I used to value not as valuable. So these are only over the past couple of days, I believe. But let's see what's winning right now. Genji, Onron, Reaper, Far. Okay. Okay. And that's in America. Far is winning a lot, Onron's winning a lot, Venture's winning a lot, so okay. Okay. I'm starting to see. So it looks like across the board, hit scans are just generally weaker in ranked right now. With the only hit scans being able to squeak consistently past 50% win rate is Ashe and Emre, not in the U. So hit scans are struggling. I've been playing a lot of hit scan lately, as well as the heroes that I lean into on flex DPS are also struggling, and it makes sense due to what's actually like being really good here. Genji is going to struggle a little bit into heroes like that Pharah, that Reaper. Being able to be spammed out consistently is going to feel really, really rough. And the execution is going to be fairly difficult, but that it does show the games that I've been winning lately have been on Tracer and Genji, which are the ones that I've been playing out of these heroes, and then I've been able to make games super, super close on Symmetra and Pharah. So if I was playing to hit scan value, which has been shown to be difficult to execute across regions right now, then potentially I need to change my approach. Now looking at GM and Champ, Ashe is still high. It's only Ashe, huh? Soldier, that makes sense. Yeah, but it's a flex DPS world. It's just Ashe. Okay. So if I want to be leaning into hit scan, maybe I can try out Ashe, as potentially that will be easier execution, even though my comfort heroes are going to be struggling a bit, at least in the hit scan role. There's probably some very like deep-seated reasons as to why these heroes are hard. Well, I can imagine why they're hard, because looking at what's winning, what's good, it's all a balance. If heroes that make the heroes that I like to play are good, then it's going to be harder to execute, especially in that last game. Like I wasn't able to find nearly as much value as I really needed to actually like carry that game on Cassie, because D.Va was just going to be such a huge factor there. Okay. Well, it's going to be like, this is a series now. That will be the end of that episode of Overwatch Everyday. Tomorrow, or next time we play DPS, I will be focusing on taking these things that I've learned, noting that I need to really fix up my pathing and my execution of these heroes to actually hopefully start winning, since I've been able to get up to champion consistently. But this is a big bump in the road, significantly. And figuring out why, so I can overcome it and get back up to champion, is going to be a really important part of actually working our way up there. So, while it's a little bit more difficult than potentially expected, that's A-okay. It's definitely something that we can work through. I'm still gonna keep streaming. I need to clean up my mechanics. I'm gonna be queuing a decent bit. I'm gonna also be talking through my process of cleaning up my mechanics. Maybe I probably won't make this into a video though. But that'll be that for that video.
Hey, Editing Evie here. I saw, bro, I was just really excited to clean up my mechanics and keep queuing, so I ended up with a kind of cold outro, but thank you guys so much for watching. Link to the Discord is in the description, and I'll be starting my new series probably either today or tomorrow, which is going to be completely focused on how I go about improving myself as a player rather than talking through the thought process of what gets me to champ. I'm going to be talking about how I can pursue even further heights and get up to OWCS. And I'll be talking through my process and showing as much of the journey as I can. But with that all said and done, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.